Here we are on page 2 of exponentials models. Just a few graphs to do here. Nothing too different than the last page. Remember, all you need to do is type the equation correctly into your calculator, into the y equals screen, and the rest of it is easy. So you put, now look here, it says -1 or -1. In this case, it's -1 because there's no number in front of it, right? So we just put the negative sign, not the minus sign, right? We use this, -1, parentheses, 2, and then we put exponent x variable, and then we press the right arrow to go back down again, and then we put +3, and I'm just going to erase the rest of these. Okay, and then I graph it, and interesting how it flattens out at this level here. I wonder what level that is. To see that, I'll do second table, and then I move my cursor back to x equals 0, and I see that x equals 0, y is equal to 2. So I'm going to write down that important point here. 0, 2. And let's see, -1 would correspond to y equals 2.5. -1, 2.5. What about +1? +1 corresponds to a +1. And 2 corresponds to -1. Okay, so let's try to graph some of these points here. So I'm going to draw the axes kind of like that. And then so 0, 2 would be this point here. -1, 2.5 would be about there. 1, 1 would be here. And 2, -1 would be here. So it looks like it kind of is diving down like that, right? Okay, so that is the first one. This is 5. And then so the next one is kind of similar. A little less tricky because it doesn't have the negative sign there. Let's graph this one. I'm just going to turn that one off, and then I'll graph the new one here. So it's going to be 4, 3, x, right arrow, -2, graph. Okay, so it's kind of like the opposite. It's like starts down, and then it kind of curves up. Let's see what numbers actually, what points it goes through. So we got -1, -2/3, or -0.667. We got 0, 2, and we got 1, 10. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to put 1, 10, that's there. 0, 2, that's there. And then -1, -0.667, it's about there. And then if I was going to drop a curve through that, it looks kind of like that. Okay. Let's go to the next one. So 0.5 times 2 to the x. Just going to turn off this one. I'm going to put in the next one. 0.5, 2 to the x, right arrow, +3. Graph it. You start to notice a trend here. The exponential curve approaches some horizontal line here. It becomes a horizontal line, but it's always like different, right? So let's see exactly where this point is here. We could do that with trace, right? So we could do trace, and then we'll move the cursor along to the left, and we'll see what height is it approaching. It's getting very close to 3, isn't it? Now, by coincidence, you notice that this number here happens to be 3. right? This number here happens to be 3. It's approaching 3, and this number happens to be 3. You'll find out later that that's not a coincidence at all. Okay, so let's take out a few critical numbers here just to graph this. So I'm going to pick out, for example, 0, 3.5, 0, 3.5, and 1, 4, and 2, 5, and 3, 7. Okay, and I'm going to put 0, 3.5, that's about there. 1, 4, that's about here. 2, 5, that's about here. 3, 7, it's about here. Let's graph that. So as it goes off to the left here, we know that it approaches 3 from our trace that we did before, right? Okay, next one. I'm just going to turn this one off. You turn it off by putting the cursor on the equal sign and pressing Enter, and then I can just go to the next one. When I turn it off, that means that function is not going to be graphed anymore. Now I'm going to graph this one here. 2 times 0.5 to the x plus 1. 2 times 0.5 to the x, right arrow, plus 1. Okay, same thing again. I'm going to graph. This one is approaching some number here. I wonder what number it approaches as it goes to the right. Let's do a trace and do a right arrow. It approaches 1. Hey, what a coincidence. This number here to the right is plus 1. Okay. Second table. So now we're going to pick up some points to actually graph this thing. So we'll put like negative 2, 9. Oops. Negative 2, 9. Negative 1, 5. 0, 3. 1, 2. For example. Okay, so graph it here. So we'll do negative 2, 9 would be about here. Negative 1, 5 would be there. 0, 3 here. 1, 2 here. Try to draw a curve through that. Okay, it's about like that. And like we said, it is approaching the number 1 as you go far off to the right. Okay. These are the last two here. Is that right? Yeah, we got these last two. So you can already predict from looking at these that, hey, look at these numbers here. Plus 1, minus 1. So the graphs are actually going to approach these numbers as you go to the right or left. Let's see what exactly they're going to look like. And, you know, the great thing about math studies is you don't have to, like, sit there analyzing this. You can just put it in the calculator and find out. But after you do a lot of these, you're gonna know. 0.4 to the x, and you notice I didn't have parentheses this time. The reason why I didn't have parentheses is because I don't have a multiplier out front, so you don't really need the parentheses anymore. And then plus 1. The plus 1 is going to make the thing approach 1 eventually on the right or to the left. By graphing it, we'll see that actually it approaches 1 to the right. Now let's check out some of the key numbers to graph it. So we'll put negative 1, 3.5. You notice sometimes I take the negative x numbers instead of the positive numbers because those are the ones that are easy to graph. 0, 2, 1, 1.4. Okay? And we might want to kind of zoom in on this graph. So we'll do like, for this scale, we'll just do the regular scale, 0, negative 1, 1. And whenever you do a scale that's not just 1 and 1, then you probably want to start marking. And on the IB exam, you want to mark anything. Always mark your scale. And so like on this scale, let's count by 2s. So this will be 3 here, this will be 2, this will be 1. So negative 1, 3.5 would be here. 0, comma 2 would be here, and 1, comma 1.4 would be here. And then I'm going to draw a curve through that. And as we were saying, it's going to approach plus 1 as it goes to the right. Okay. And last graph is this one here. And I'm going to turn that one off, and then I'm going to turn this one on. And I'm going to put, if you just start typing stuff in here, it automatically turns the graph on. You can see that the equal sign becomes highlighted. 2.1 to the x power, right arrow, well, minus 1, sorry. Minus 1. Okay, and then we should see it approaching negative 1, right? And let's get a couple values to graph this. Wow, these are really interesting numbers. So we'll take negative 1, comma 19 as one ordered pair, negative 1, comma 19. Another one would be 0, comma 1. And another one would be 1, comma negative 0.8. Negative 0.8. Okay, so this is going to be hard to graph. So we'll draw axes here, and so our axes we're going to have to like maybe make it a little squished. So instead of each block being worth 1, we're going to make each block worth a half, and then let's see, negative 1, comma 19 would be about there. 0, comma 1 would be there, and 1, comma negative 0.8 would be like here. So then if I were to graph that, it would kind of look like that. Okay, and that's approaching the number negative 1. All right? Let's see. And we should mark the x scale because we did not use the 1-to-1 scale on the y-axis. So that's it for this page 2.